Welcome back to the Crypto in Real Life podcast number 5. We're going to talk about some news around crypto and investing and just a few different things. So we'll go and get in it. Here's our opening slide and we'll see what we got here this week. So Clint, I wanted to bring up this with you that the Air Force created a trademark for and to use other NFT patents. So basically they trademark this new metaverse related NFT thing. It's like Spaceverse. And
Okay.
so as you can see, it's like a secure digital metaverse that converges terrestrial and space, physical and digital realities and provides synthetic and simulated extended reality training, testing and operations environments. So it's basically they've applied for a patent for, and it's called a metaverse trademark application. This got a Mike. I can't pronounce his last name. He like reports on all the different patents that come through that are metaverse related. So this is specifically for their like training, but in virtual reality.
Okay.
I thought
That's
that I thought that was strange, basically.
yeah.
So I don't really know why they need to patent this space first thing. I'm not quite sure. I guess. Well, I guess it's for like the secure digital part to it, and I guess it makes sense to do it because you might need security around the actual like testing and understanding behind like training in virtual reality. I guess you need it more than just a virtual reality sim. I'm not really sure why though.
Where does the NFT come into play? Like,
Okay,
is the
I don't know if the NFTs come into play here, but
okay?
they're also creating. There's some other places like Napa. I've got down there at the bottom left is creating a new NFT metaverse trademark application. So it's for like different vehicles. You know, Napa's like an automobile company, so they're wanting to do it for virtual vehicle repair, virtual clothing, other virtual stores, and NFTs and NFT backed media. So I'm not really sure how the hell that's even going to make any sense in the metaverse. A virtual vehicle repair, like what sense does that make?
Yeah, I don't really. Maybe it's like
Yeah, that's what the question
advertising.
is. Like virtual car repair? Question mark. What the hell?
I'm thinking maybe it's like some sort of way to advertise.
Right, but it implies that there will be some kind of metaverse platform that's going to allow driving of cars, and that cars can get hurt in the metaverse, and that you would need to repair them. That seems hard to believe.
That's true. Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I guess my point is of all this of this whole slide is real companies are taking it seriously and doing different trademarks. I mean, and also the Space Force, or it's actually the Air Force, is making the space first. So they're the military. The different companies are taking it very seriously. Is my point.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised that a company like Napa is doing something like that.
I mean, they're
It's
not
kind
a
of shocking.
technological company at all.
Yeah.
It says retail store services online and in virtual reality platforms, namely operating a retail store online and in the metaverse, online worlds, or other virtual reality platforms selling tangible and virtual goods, featuring home delivery and store pickup of tangible goods and downloadable digital goods. So I think they're also going to use it as a way to sell their items in the
So it's like a
metaverse.
okay. So it's like a virtual store almost.
Well, I think that's one part of it, but then they're also talking about the virtual vehicle repair. Now that doesn't make any sense
Maybe okay. Well, I mean, a lot of
because
times
it's talking about
don't
virtual automotive parts.
don't a lot of companies like submit these trademarks and stuff because they want to like retain the potential to do something, not necessarily like they're going to do something.
Well, I mean, I think that's definitely true too. I don't think they have real concrete plans, but they have some sort of plans. Okay, motor
Yeah.
vehicle repair services online and in virtual reality platforms, namely providing virtual vehicle service and repairs that are experienced or downloadable in metaverse. No, this is not talking about certain like shopping online stuff. Some of it is, I think, for sure. But that
Yeah,
is
I think it's like
saying they're
half.
but there's that is saying they're talking about actually repairing cars and
Yeah,
doing different. I don't even
that's weird.
I don't even know how to make sense of that.
Yeah, I see. I would have expected it would have been like technology companies that would do this type of stuff, and not necessarily, a repair shop. You
Well,
know.
the one thing Mark Zuckerberg keeps saying is it's going to require everybody, all the companies, all the different products in the world to make the metaverse a reality. And I think where he's coming from that is it's the same gold rush essentially as the internet was. Every company got on board with it. Everybody's got a website. Everybody's got a digital footprint now.
Right. It's basically every company is going to be required to do that to compete.
Yep. I mean, I think and my friend who works at Facebook spoke about what Mark like plans on doing, and he envisions when you'll be able to go into a grocery store and virtually shop, and then the grocery stores will arrive at your door.
Right.
It'll be a virtual shop. You can have a virtual shopping experience.
I don't.
I think a better. I bet not groceries. Probably not the best example. He said specifically trying on fashion items.
Okay. I would say, yeah, like going to the grocery store, that'd be kind of pointless. But
Yeah, grocery store would be
um,
pointless, but the fashion stuff I could see more so.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and yeah,
I never really thought that. I guess I never really envisioned it going past technology companies. But now that like it's happening, it makes sense.
well, and it's a platform. The see Facebook, I think what they're trying to do, or Meta, whatever, they're creating the virtual reality headsets. They're creating one of the platforms people can go to, and they're wanting it to be the Facebook of the metaverse. And people will be able to create pages and more interactive stuff than before. But they're really saying the metaverse is going to be like an extension of the internet today. The next version of the internet, essentially. Web
Yeah.
3.0 is the what people call it. It's going to be built a lot on Ethereum, a lot of the cryptocurrency stuff. But also there'll be plenty of centralized solutions too for all this
Well,
stuff.
see, I wonder with like this Napa thing, if there i- if there would be like a repair shop that's already created and they're just like slapping Napa on it, you know?
Oh, well, it depends on the platform. I mean, it's hard for me to believe that they're going to, because you have to have some technical chops to some degree to create this
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they would develop this.
No, but there could be. I one thing, at least Meta's like encouraging different companies to create stuff on the metaverse, like create different things. So maybe this
Do
is
they have
easy to do. I don't know if the tools are easier or what.
right, do they have some sort of kit or something?
Yeah, there's kits already for creating stuff within at least Facebook's version of it.
Is it user friendly or is it
I don't
I know
know
no,
exactly. So I mean, I would hope it's user friendly because he keeps saying you don't need to know how to code to do it. I don't know how that's possible,
okay.
but
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure. It might be kind of like Second Life. I think it's like Second Life on steroids.
I was about to say that. That's like what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, this is taking the same ideas from Second Life and from remember that PlayStation Home. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Hmm.
These are the same ideas, except it's just being expanded, and there's a lot more buy-in now from major companies. And it's not just going to be one platform; it's going to be a bunch of different platforms. But yeah, I agree with you. It does seem hard to believe Napa would be creating this IT stuff, but it could be, like you said, they're just going to slap their trademark on something that somebody else actually built. Well, they could always outsource it. They could pay somebody to do it.
True, yeah. Yeah, there's nothing stopping them from doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I think maybe to draw a comparison, it's like website builders. There's metaverse builders, maybe.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Well, another evolution I think that's going to happen, you know how we're all working from home, a lot of people are, is that you'll be able to do increasingly more physical tasks that you have to get together to do in the metaverse. Like you'll be able to do your little testing or whatever you're doing, or looking at your different parts or designing that you may need to do more in person that you wouldn't have to do in person anymore. I think there'll always be a physical need to go to work, but it's supposed to replace some of the work activities that are necessary for work. Like right now, we got meetings replaced, and IT jobs are
It would
going to be,
depend on
you know,
it would depend on your job, really.
right. But if there's like more hands-on design, I can kind of see that potentially.
I can see that from if you're like an engineer or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because IT right now is totally replaced. I mean, you don't need IT jobs, in the office unless you're dealing with physical hardware. There's no need to.
Right.
But there could be. I mean, I think that's the same engineers. A lot of them need to go to the office, so maybe that'll replace even more of them. I'm not sure, and make it to where they don't have to go in. There's also some people I've heard saying that it's going to make it to where surgeons don't need to be at the surgical thing, and there's going to be robots doing it, and they're going to control it.
That might be like way down the line. I don't see
Well,
that
I mean,
anytime soon.
the Air Force, there's a lot of people who sit there and man drones that don't actually go into the battlefield.
It's true.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's way down the line too. It's not anytime soon. But that's the
It
idea.
wouldn't be through
It's just-
metaverse though.
no, but I think you're missing the bigger definition of the metaverse. It's not like it's one platform. It's basically just like increased. The bigger definition of the metaverse is the internet. Like we're already in it or whatever.
Okay.
So it's like expanding the metaverse or whatever. So basically, I think what a lot of people's definition, or at least what I understand it to be, is it's just our relationship with technology, essentially. And it's just like this new name for it. I don't know why they call it that now. It's basically the internet. Because you don't need to call it the metaverse ever. You could just keep saying it's just the internet becoming more improved and more interactive.
My understanding of metaverse is it's just a platform like Facebook is or something.
But it's not just going to be one platform. It's going to be a bunch of platforms that make up the metaverse.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
Like there's going to be the Facebook platform. There's going to be other decentralized platforms. There's going to be a Microsoft platform. There's going to be an NVIDIA platform. They've already announced it.
This is all being like fueled by Facebook.
No. Facebook's just one company who's doing it. And they've gone all in on the idea and renamed their whole company Meta.
Okay, so they didn't make metaverse.
No.
I thought they did.
Their company is called Meta. That's why it gets confusing. It's because they are going all in on the idea and calling their whole company Meta. They're just creating one metaverse platform. Microsoft is creating one too. NVIDIA is as well. And there's also going to be decentralized metaverses too. They're built on blockchain.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
So, but the whole idea is all of those things. It's like I said, metaverse is basically just the internet, but more. What's the word? More interactive, more
Right.
presence or whatever.
It's the virtual internet or whatever.
Right, and Meta's just going all in on it, basically. So
Okay, I didn't understand that.
yeah, Napa's not necessarily, because you see it says virtual platforms.
Right. Okay.
So it could be one on Facebook stuff, Meta stuff, and then one on NVIDIA, one on Microsoft, one on some decentralized one. But that's why I think Meta has to be nice to Ethereum and blockchain, because the whole idea is that you'll be able to buy something in one of them and take them to another one. So like your digital goods will be malleable or usable. Usable, a better way to put it. And on each of the different platforms, you'll be able to buy something in Meta's thing, and then you'll be able to take it into Microsoft's thing, or take it onto some decentralized thing, because they're all based on the blockchain, and the blockchain makes it more interoperable than ever before. The idea is basically, when you buy something on a video game today, you can only use it within that video game. Imagine if you could take that same thing and bring it into other video games.
Right. Yeah.
I do find it hard to see how that you'd actually be able to use it in any meaningful way in between the different platforms. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there'd
Like,
have to be some sort of cohesive.
like if you take the car idea, imagine you buy a car in Grand Theft Auto or something, and then you take it into Facebook or something somehow. Like,
Like, how would that work?
I don't know. That's what I don't understand. Maybe there must have to be a lot of. I can kind of see a way that could work is if you have these blockchains that could read ideas from read like variables from one and then input it into another as another set of variables, and then there has to be programming in place to handle cars though. And if there isn't any programming in place, all I'd probably do is bring in like a JPEG or something. Nothing that complicated.
Right. Yeah. And
Just
that's one way. Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like
I
if you,
bet you're going to have a lot of companies like collaborating with each other, and I bet like certain stuff would be more interactive with certain platforms.
But the reason why I think it's going to be very important that they're decentralized is if you try to centralize everything, it's going to be fucking impossible. Because that means you're going to have to make each of these little things.
Oh yeah, that would never work.
You have to make it to where these little side chains can just pop up that bridges different things. And
Yeah.
then the people will do that because there's value that's being created from these side chains, and people are willing to invest their time into it. So it's basically
Yeah.
like, how there's mods today. People do that because they just want to. So imagine if you give economic incentive into it, how much faster people will create and make these interoperable things between them. But if the platform doesn't support the blockchain stuff and support being able to bring in that different code, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Or it's not going to be very good. I thought that's my biggest fear is that Facebook's going to try to centralize everything and not embrace all the blockchain stuff. If they don't do it, they're screwed, in my opinion. But I don't know how it's all going to work though, to be honest. Because it is kind of hard to imagine, especially from your perspective of being a programmer. It's like hard to imagine how this could even work.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be really complicated, but at the same time, I think you can make it to where if everything's like you're saying decentralized and self-contained, like that's
That's the only way.
manageable.
That's the only way it's going to be able to bring in stuff, unless there's this company talking to this company and there's a bridge there, which I just don't think there would be enough to make it as cool as they're trying to make it out to be.
Right.
Because the idea is you'll be able to buy something in Farmville on Facebook, just to make an example, and take it into a Harvest Moon game if Nintendo's a part of it, or Harvest Moon is a part of it, or something. Somehow you'd be able to do that.
Like so okay, hypothetically, we'd say like by default you'd get like a JPEG of
Right.
your farm bill token or whatever.
Achievement. You could have achievements you can post on the wall. That would be just
Right.
JPEGs or something like
Like
that.
that'd be like your default. But if they're collaborating with each other, then you might get like a I don't know, like a house or something. I don't know, something
Right.
that's like interactable.
If they're collaborating with each other, or if they're allowing decentralized side chains to bridge stuff in, then it can happen without the companies even talking to each other.
Or yeah,
But that's why I think it's important. That's why a lot of people are thinking the decentralized metaverses will do better overall.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely got potential.
I think I think the biggest issue is companies getting in the way of each other for it to actually be as interoperable as they dream it to be. I think companies will get in each other's way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think more than likely the first iteration of this, it's just going to be like JPEGs. I think it's pretty cool though, the idea that I could bring in my PlayStation trophies, for instance, into the metaverse, into my Facebook home, and like show them off.
You can like put them on a shelf or something.
Well, that'd be really cool. But even if it's just a JPEG showing my stuff off, and we like you, we that's my little space or whatever, and we can just hang out there and get other people that your friends that you never get to see anymore, and then actually feel present with them. I think it is a cool idea.
It is. Yeah, it's neat.
I just don't know. It's hard to imagine it being good though because I've used the virtual reality and it gives me a headache right now. So
I
it's
mean, the
hard.
virtual reality, it's got to have better right now.
What'd you say?
I said like the VR headsets, or whatever.
Yeah.
They need better resolution.
Well, also the other thing they're working on. I don't know if you knew this, but Meta, Facebook, is working on glasses, and I think other companies are too. Like literally just glasses, and you'll be able to see through them, and it'll be like augmented reality. So, say I'm in my other room on the couch, I could look at you, and you would appear on my couch, watching TV with me
That's neat.
somehow. And when I say
So
watching TV, I shouldn't say watching TV. I should say watching TV on your glasses. We'd be watching the same
it's
video.
probably like projecting it onto your glasses or something,
Correct. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. That's what I should say. But you could be on my couch or whatever, or right
Right.
next to me. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just appear how you
That's neat.
appear. I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, that seems far. That seems like a Star Wars shit.
And they'd have to have like you'd have to be have a camera on yourself or something.
I would think so. Yeah. Or
If they're projecting your or like an avatar, I guess.
I think the Avatar is what it's going to be at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an Avatar first because I don't think they're going to have all that camera shit together.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I thought it was interesting. Napa. That was just weird. Air Force. That's
Yeah,
weird.
that is weird.
And he's showing that the trademarks have just gone up every single month since January. And they just keep going up. For NFT related trademark stuff, there's a ton of them. So, like 1,023 in March. So people are starting to realize it's going to be a. I think if it isn't a big deal, people are convinced it's a big deal.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Seems like people are buying into it.
Yeah, exactly. And this kind of goes into my next slide. So Facebook started out with this currency that project that they were trying to do, and it was going to be like $1 or like their version of a stable coin. I think it was called Libra, and it was going to be their cryptocurrency. But they were trying to, they wanted to control it entirely and be able to use it on Facebook and like somehow like they wanted all the transactions to happen on Facebook to go through this currency. But I heard it was abandoned because there was a lot of regulation rules. I think central banks thought they were overstepping the authority by trying to make it so centralized. At least that's what I've read. So, anyways, that was abandoned. So now there's a new project called, they're calling it Zuckbucks. I don't know if that's really what it's going to be called, but it's going to be
Yeah,
used
I was
to
about
tip
to say,
creators.
is that really the name?
That's what people internally are calling it. So that's
Okay.
what the article I read called it that. But you can use it to tip creators. TikTok has something similar. You can buy TikTok money and then tip people, and then they can convert it back to cash. That's a thing that already exists. And if that's all it is, that's not that great.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I mean,
who cares?
and that's not really like a anything really.
No, But I think a lot of people were speculating that that's going to be the currency that Meta uses in the future and how people do transactions on it. But I hate the idea that if it's just Facebook money that you convert to dollars, that to me sounds horrible. It
I
it's
mean,
fine for Facebook to
uh,
have their own money, but there needs to be all the crypto stuff. You should be able to buy on Facebook and trade on Facebook.
I
That's
mean,
how it should be.
if you're, yeah,
It's got to be interoperable with the crypto stuff. If they're not, they're going to be screwed, in my
yeah.
opinion. Like, and this is another good point I just thought about. Shouldn't they just utilize Bitcoin? They could just choose Bitcoin to use that. At least we know that it's got more value in a lot of different places.
Yeah. I mean, and then people can actually use it wherever they want to use it, you know?
Right. Yeah, and it could be sent to any wallet anywhere. It could be it's just way more useful. And I think they should use Bitcoin, but ideally they just use all of the cryptocurrencies, and you could
Well,
do
I mean,
any of them.
if it just converts to, the dollar or whatever, um,
But how do you make that conversion make sense?
well, I mean, the reason why they would do it is because it gives them more, um, they can make more money that way.
I
It's
understand that's
like,
why they do it.
okay, well, yeah.
I get that's why they're doing it, but I think it's going to hurt them long term, in my opinion. Because I
I
think that
think,
I don't know.
yeah, I think you're right. I agree with you.
I think that is going to hurt the Meta platform because a lot of the people that are going to make this Meta shit are into the cryptocurrency stuff. So isolating them and forcing them to use Facebook dollars doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I think it'd be better if you just used actual dollars that like PayPal did than to do some Facebook currency.
Or just like having a cryptocurrency in general. I feel like you kind of, it gets people more involved with it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
that's what
saying?
I'm saying. It would promote it and make people think, "Oh, Meta's not crazy. They're going to be decentralized too." And a lot of the people who are into this stuff are into crypto, so
Yeah,
it would attract people to want to maybe develop on their platform and make apps on it. I'm
absolutely.
I'm sure there will be plenty of traditional companies willing to make apps on this, anyways. Though I just think they should have a wide variety of options. You know what I mean?
Right.
More options, the better. And they could always charge a fee. They can always charge a fee on whatever cryptos are sent, like a 1% fee or something. I also heard, though, that Meta is going to charge, you know how Apple's got like a 30% fee on their store?
Yeah.
Meta's going to charge 45% for any app sold, is what I've heard on the Meta
That's
platform. Insane.
that's yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. They're gonna, if they do all this stuff like I've been reading this, I don't know.
And
I mean, I don't think they're gonna do very well.
they're just, begging for someone to come and do it better.
Yeah, I mean they might be okay for a while and do well, but I just don't think it's good long term decision making. But I think they're wanting to copy the Apple model, but make it for the Meta, which might be fine because Meta is so. I mean, Facebook and Meta and all that stuff is so popular that they might be able to get away with it and get a lot of people in on it, and the crypto people will just go somewhere else. So
But like, are people like obsessed with Facebook the same way they're obsessed with Apple? I don't think so.
I think he thinks so.
It's not. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't feel like people are
Well, we
like
might be
like
thinking about
Facebook.
it, and if I told somebody I'm going to delete your Facebook, a lot of people would have a heart attack.
Okay, yeah, like okay, I agree. People are like dependent on Facebook and
That's all it really is with
want it,
Apple. People are dependent on Apple. It's the same thing.
but I don't think they like it. If that makes sense.
Or you're saying they're not in love with it like they are Apple products?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who are obsessed with it. There's so many people that spend tons of time on it. Like lots
Fair
of
enough.
time. And also Instagram is a part of Facebook too. So if I told somebody I'm going to take away your Instagram and your Facebook account, you'll never get it again, a lot of people would be crazy.
People do like it. Yeah, I agree.
Also,
You're
think about
right.
this. They have a digital ghost there. They have the digital life they've already built up with all these posts.
Yeah, people like the side effects like that comes with it, I guess.
And they've got all this history there. So if
Yeah,
I deleted it, it's like I'm taking away a lot of their digital footprint.
right. It's like you're erasing a piece of them.
I mean, seriously, I think it is that deep. So they may pretend to hate it because some people don't like their practices or whatever. But but there's the same thing with Apple. It's like you can't use SD cards. You have to change a charger to a different, you know, you have to buy pointless accessories all the time. But people do it anyways just because they're like, well, it's Apple, it's what I like. I think
Yeah,
it's sort
yeah,
of a similar thing. So he might. So I'm saying if people migrate to the metaverse idea and get into the glasses stuff, a lot of people will probably just prefer to use Facebook shit just because they're already on it.
true.
I'm not saying. I think though the people who are really into it will probably choose something else. You know what I mean? They'll probably look at Facebook. It's sort of the same thing today. People who are really, more nerdy and nuanced. They're using like Discord and different other means for communication. They don't use any of the other stuff for social stuff.
Yeah,
And like, if you heard of Telegram, that's really popular too because it's really privacy centric.
I've heard of it, but not really familiar with it.
So I mean, I guess from a profitability standpoint, Facebook has a lot of backing because normal regular folks like Facebook, so that's kind of a big deal. So they'll probably do fine anyways. I just think I don't like it. I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they'd make it more open, but we'll see what they do. Okay, so last week Elon was trying to buy Twitter. Do you think we actually need a new Twitter? That's what he said his reason for trying to do it is. Do you think we actually need one?
Um,
A new version of it?
yes. I think in terms of like for free speech, yes, I would say we do need a new one.
Yeah, it doesn't seem fair that Trump's not on it. A lot of other people have been canceled and for like no good reasons at all, and seems kind of crazy. So I agree with you too. So you think there is this is basically my next question is so it's like a moral imperative for free speech and it has nothing to do with profit. That's what he
Yes.
stated so you're agreeing with his reasons for doing it. He claims that's his reasons, which I think I believe him. Do you think he can actually buy it though? Do you think that's actually possible?
I think it's possible. I don't know exactly how all this works, but and I assume if you have the money, you can buy it because it's a public company.
I, I I don't know how it works, to be honest. Like, it's true that it is a public company, but all the shareholders have to agree to it. So I don't know how everybody comes to an agreement.
My understanding is
Because it's not like
like
he can
there's a
go
way
on
to do it.
Robinhood and just buy all the shares, whatever.
I thought there, and I might be wrong, but I thought there like you could do it like through the board and get them to agree on
That's not
something,
going to work. We already know
or
that.
there's like a way to like go over their heads and just buy it outright.
But people have to agree on it somehow. I thought it like if you get majority of people to agree, then I think it works. Like I think you just buy everything. I don't really know,
And
to be
like,
honest.
couldn't he hypothetically just buy all the stock that's like available?
He could buy all the stock that's up for sale. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know the percentage that's out there, but I mean, if he had enough to where he had enough to control the company, like that, wouldn't that do it?
Well, I don't know if there'd be enough for sale to do that. You have to be people,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I'm not sure.
I don't think he's willing to do that either because there's a possibility he can't get it all, and he's driving the price up even higher too. That wouldn't necessarily be a smart financial way to do it. Because if he's buying all the shares and there's like no supply on the market, that's going to make the price enormous. And I don't think he wants to spend too much money on it.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't do something like that. I was just saying hypothetically. Like,
yeah, I think you could do that. He could just buy as many shares as he could until there was no more shares to be bought. I mean, if he did it that way, eventually he would sell them all because people would just keep putting them out there for $200, $300. People would sell it then.
And like, what percentage of the company does the board own?
They own, I think it's like 50 or 60. I don't know. Majority, I believe.
Okay, so the board owns a majority of the company. Okay, so we'll say they own 51%.
Yeah.
Okay. So he would, okay, well, one thing he could do is if he got enough, a large enough stake, and he could just convince some of the board members, couldn't he? Like, you don't need all of them, do you?
I don't really know about. I don't know how it works either, to be honest. Like, I think it is them trying to. He's trying to convince the board, and there's some way if the board approves it, like he can just buy them all, and that didn't work. But I think there is, like you said, another way to do it. He did mention in a TED interview that there is a plan B if his offer is not accepted. Maybe that's what he's trying to do right now is buying them all. I don't really know.
I guess we'll find out.
Yep. But one thing that they were talking about in that TED interview is, should there be any speech censored, or should it just be wide open? Period. What do you think?
I think for the most part it should be wide open, but I don't think you should allow people to
say go kill X.
Go kill somebody. Yeah, I don't think you should allow that.
So no calls for violence. I think it basically comes down. I think that's about it. Like,
yeah, that. I mean, like, you shouldn't. Nothing that's already illegal.
You can't show porn.
Right. Yeah. Nothing that's already illegal that you can't. I mean, well, you could probably post porn, but not on
Twitter.
Stuff.
You shouldn't be able to do it on Twitter. If Twitter doesn't want to let you do that, that's fine. Like, I understand that.
Well, you can.
What?
You can.
On Twitter,
sure.
Oh, really?
You just have to be over 18 to see it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Well, that's kind of weird.
I mean, I think
if they wanted to censor that, I could understand them censoring that.
I think you can mark your profile as like adult.
Okay. Well, I could see them censoring that. That wouldn't be unreasonable to me. But yeah, I mean, and also Twitter's such a big platform, you can kind of do your own censoring. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a crazy idea, isn't it? People, if you don't like it, don't look at it.
Yeah, for real.
And there's this other big idea that Michael Saylor has brought up, and he was trying to convince Elon of it on Twitter, actually. There's a big bot problem. Have you been on YouTube comments lately?
Yeah.
Do you not notice a lot of bots? It's a lot of...
Yeah, it's full.
Hit me up on WhatsApp and blah, blah, blah. I've been a trader forever. I'm an investor. Thanks to Mark X for doing this, or whatever the hell they say. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
There's so much of it. It's ridiculous. It's the same thing on Twitter, too. There's so much. It's the same shit on there. So one of the ideas was to make it to where you have to say, like, put up, $20 worth of Bitcoin or some amount of Bitcoin before you can comment on a post. Like, you have shown you're verified by saying, hey, here's my wallet. Here's some monetary value on this wallet. This is a thing. Now I can post. So that would make it much harder for bots to actually spin up and do all their bullshit, because they'd have to post $20 of the Bitcoin in every single account. And that'd be very expensive to do that.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea.
That was Michael Saylor's idea. Some people, I've listened to some other people who are not like Bitcoin maximalists like he is, which he's not totally a Bitcoin maximalist, but he kind of is. There's people are saying like Twitter could create their own cryptocurrency, and I think that's a terrible idea though, because that could be manipulated. But they could create their own cryptocurrency, and you don't have to like it would basically model behavior, and the better behavior that they notice based on algorithms, they would give you currency, and that will show if you're legitimate or not. I actually like the Bitcoin idea a lot better. People have to just say, "Here's this monetary value. I'm verified," and you could choose to say, "I don't want anybody to comment on my stuff unless they're also verified." So
Yeah.
because some of the like the YouTube sections of some of the crypto videos, like they're almost all trash. They're almost all bullshit, and you can't. There's a
So
few
any
comments in there that are decent, but
any crypto video or like financial advice video,
yeah, financial, even just like investing regular stuff.
those are all full of bots. Or really, it's like scams. They're trying to trick people.
And there's also these little scams that they come up saying on a live video of people saying, "Hey, give us 1 Bitcoin and we'll give you 2 Bitcoin back. Give us 1 Ethereum and we'll give you 2 Ethereum back. Just send it here." And they'll spin up these live videos with showing like Elon Musk talking or some Bitcoin video or something, and it's just totally stolen. And it looks legitimate. It's a live video that they're displaying. Every time I see them, I always report them because I think it's horrible if people actually do it.
Yeah.
And there's this guy I watch who's a crypto dude. He was telling a story of a guy that watches his channel. I don't know how he fell for it, but one of his viewers fell for it and sent a guy 2 Bitcoin. His life savings. How do you fall for that?
That's insane.
And he said there's been bunches of people that email him almost every day saying they fell for a scam.
I mean, come on.
But Saylor was talking about this too. He said there's a million people who million bots that come up and pretend they're Saylor and trying to convince people, blah blah blah. You know how they'll do that too. It's so good. They'll say, "This is the whatever podcast. To let me know on WhatsApp and we'll comment and talk more." They're very good at making it look like it's the person talking.
I think they play to people's like naivete, I guess.
Yeah, because if you think, "Ooh, Michael Saylor's talking to me," oh my god.
Yeah.
The likelihood of him talking to you is 0.
Yeah.
It's 0. I had this guy I was listening to or looking at on Twitter or whatever. He was in the Bitcoin thing. And then he added me, followed me on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird. I don't ever get followers on there at all." And I looked at it, I was like, "What? That can't be that guy."
Yeah.
And but it was uncanny how he had reposted everything that guy had posted. Everything.
Well, it's probably like a bot account.
That's still cool though. I don't even know how they do that. It's fucking crazy. And it looked so much like it. Even had the same tweet pinned. The only difference was it was instead of John Lowry, it was John P. Lowry. Only difference. I don't know. I thought it was pretty impressive, but I knew it wasn't that guy. I mean, it was impossible. It didn't make any sense. But it was pretty cool that they were able to see that I'd liked a comment or something from him and was trying to. It's kind of inventive, I have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, but anyways, that's some ideas to help with the bot problem. I think it's an interesting idea. Some people don't like it because you'd have to give up some money. I think a better idea is to make it to where you have to have a verified wallet with X amount of money on it. You know what I mean? And just show that you are legitimate.
Yeah.
Because on a lot of these new crypto sites, you don't even make usernames. Your wallet is your username, is your user and password.
I feel like that wouldn't work because then you could just use the same wallet for like a bunch of accounts.
Maybe only one wallet can be tied to one account. Maybe that could be
That could work.
in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That could work.
I mean, it could still be possible to bot somebody, but it'd be much more expensive.
Yeah.
So it's an idea.
Okay, so like it would have to be a wallet with some money in it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there needs to be some kind of limit, maybe $20 worth of money. But you still have the money. You're not giving it to anything. You're verifying I have
Right.
$20 of something.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, he was saying Bitcoin, but I think it could be even more broad than that. It could be a wallet attached to some digital value of some sort.
Yeah,
So
I think that works better.
yeah, I think so too. Well, he likes Bitcoin, so
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to get more Bitcoin out there, so
of course he said Bitcoin. That's
yeah.
his thing. Okay, so I also wanted to talk about the new Tesla stuff. Which this is kind of old, but I think it was announced in like 2018. I think I heard a recent interview about it, and it's just got me kind of thinking about it with Elon. So have you heard about the Tesla bot and their plans there?
I have not heard of this at all.
This came out. This is a 2018 presentation, so this is kind of old. And I think this was like his first like ideas of it and stuff. But he's talking about it more and more, and they're saying that the bots should be here by 2030, maybe even earlier. It could be even like
Oh,
I've heard as early as 2026. They would have Tesla bots that could do like basically could be live at your home, basically be your butler essentially.
yeah.
Do all the chores you don't want to do, cut your grass, that sort of thing.
You, oh, you cut out right there.
Like cut your grass, do the chores that you don't want to do, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And they would also you'd be able to buy them, and they could work for a company. I mean, it's going to destroy, I think, a lot of man, service jobs, low skill jobs. It's going to make those pretty much disappear if these are actually widely adopted.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It it's basically like a menial labor, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, menial labor, and I mean, he was talking about he literally said it: cut your grass, do your chores, cook for you, do those things.
It says dojo training.
I think that's a
What
joke.
the-
I think it's saying
okay.
it could train with you if you wanted it to.
I see. Okay.
I think that was a joke, but maybe it could. I don't know. But I think it'd be
Uh,
smart. It'd be like AI enabled, and you could teach it things, and it would speak back to you.
I imagine. Well, I would hope they would make it to where, like, you could add programs to it, and
Yeah, you should be able to teach it things. Like it'd have to be
yeah,
that way. If it because your yard's going to be different than other people's yards. You might want it to get on the roof and do some, you know, fixing the gutters or something like that. So there might be stuff that's intricate to you, you know.
right.
So it'd have to be able to be smart enough to learn things, and and I don't know how the hell that'll work. Like, but that's the grand idea.
Do you think they would allow you to give it like code?
Probably, I think you made a good point. I think what it'll be is lots of different people will be programming for it, and like you'll be able to just load in that program. Maybe you could buy apps for it or something. Maybe
That's how I envision it.
like I know kung fu from the Matrix, but you do it for the robot.
Right. You'd have people making kung fu programs for it.
Yeah, now you know kung fu. He did say though there has to be hard programmed in. If you say stop, it always stops.
That's a good idea.
Do you think it'll ever happen, or do you think this is too far out?
I mean, I think 2030 seems optimistic, but I think it'll happen
Some
at
people are
some
saying
point.
2026.
That seems crazy to me, but maybe. I don't know.
I'm thinking 2030. I mean, I don't know. Who would have thought that Tesla would be as big as it is now, and have all these gigafactories and all this crazy stuff? So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Supposedly, oh, sorry, go ahead.
2030 is 8 years from now. I mean, a lot can happen in 8 years.
Yeah, robo taxis. You've heard that they're going to make Teslas be able to pick up people, and it's going to basically replace Uber. I wouldn't invest in Uber anymore because
Yeah.
Tesla's already going to do all this automated through Tesla, and I'm sure other companies will copy this. and it will allow your company to just go around and pick up people and tax them. So basically, your car can earn money while you're away from it, essentially.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that supposedly is going to be here at best 2024. That's not that long. I mean, 2 years. They're saying they're going to pilot it. But
So
that requires the AI stuff, the automated bullshit for cars is supposed to be done by the end of this year. They think they'll be able to have it fully automated and totally legal, get all the regulations, and be able to do it in the U.S. by the end of the year.
and like it could be a cab with no driver.
It'd be your car. Like, say you bought a Tesla, and you're like, well, I'm not going to be driving anywhere today, and I've got full charge. Sure, go beep, 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 beep. Go do your thing.
I mean, like, it
Make
can
money.
drive on the roads, not just the highways. It can drive on everywhere.
Yes. And then it would pick up people. Now, the other thing is that people might trash your car. I'm assuming there's going to have it to where people get rated, and you'd only want to pick up 5-star people.
Well, that's why you buy your Tesla bot and put them in there.
That's probably what they're thinking. Protect it, bitches.
Yeah.
It's my Tesla bot. It's my owner's, bitch. I can't wait for it to happen. That'd be like a good buddy to have.
You get the Tesla bot bodyguard program.
But think about how great that'll be. I mean, for people who are lonely or people who are older who don't have anybody to hang out with. I think it'd be good.
Yeah.
I mean, then a lot of people say, that's why I said potential dystopian nightmare. We all just have robots that we fall in love with or something.
If every household has their family robot, that might be bad.
I don't think it is, though. I think the family robot, what you just said, is a good thing. I think every man who has a fembot is a bad thing.
Yeah, that'd be worse.
The fembot. But there's going to be that. That's going to be a thing. If this is a thing, there's going to be that. For sure.
I'm just saying, like, you'd imagine the amount of robots that would be in existence at that point.
That's going to be a while to get to that point. Like 2040. If 2030 is when they come out, 2040 is when it's widely adopted.
Yeah.
But there would be fembots and that kind of thing. I think if that is a thing. But this kind of I didn't put a slide in for this, but he was talking about his ideal for SpaceX is to launch an armada of the new whatever the spaceship's called that he's creating, rocket thing. Whatever they're creating should be able to go to Mars, and his idea is that they will launch an armada of them to go to Mars, like 100 of them that would fit 1,000 people on each one, or something like that, or maybe 1,000 of them that fits 100 people on each one, something like that. Launch an armada of them, and then they all land on Mars, and they all start creating the society or whatever, and then those same ships can come back, 2 years later, and traverse.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it relates to the bot thing is because you could put a bunch of bots on there too, and then they can go out and do all the crazy work, the hard work, the stuff that's really treacherous.
True. Yeah. There's actually a really good show called Raised by Wolves, and it's kind of like this. They have like these bots or androids or whatever, and the androids do like more of the dangerous stuff because they can't die and all that.
Oh,
but yeah, I could definitely, and they're like populating a new planet. But I could definitely see us like establishing a colony and then using bots to do to set it up.
Yeah. I mean, also you could send just a bunch of bots there to get it ready. I think that's actually a better idea.
Yeah.
Fuck sending humans at first. Just send a ton of bots just to get it ready.
Yeah, send a ton of bots in the first wave.
Yeah, that actually make more sense. He didn't say that, but I bet he didn't think about that.
Well, they may not be good enough to do that.
I don't know. Well, you might be I think the problem is the bandwidth from Mars to Earth is so long. You need a human to make sure things are going well.
True.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't work. But you could send less humans. You probably wouldn't need as many. You could supplement them.
Yeah.
More,
Yeah.
You have your army robot.
And
Your
probably like
robot
10
army.
bots is worth one human.
It's pretty good though. That's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, and well, you could say a robot is worth a human because there's humans that do manual labor today. It depends on the
It
human you're
depends on
talking
how,
about.
yeah, how effectively they're doing it.
But you're going to need a lot of grunt workers, it's kind of an expensive trip to just be doing grunt work. So you should be doing the smarter work.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be anybody who goes to Mars doing grunt work. That's just nuts.
I agree. Well, I imagine most of the people that they're sending are going to be, squints.
Well, and they're planning on making it $200,000, and they said anybody can go. Like there'll be an application system, and if you have the money, anybody can go potentially.
How much money is it?
200,000.
Well, there you go.
But it's like the Mayflower. You spend the $200,000, you are going to own Mars in the future. Own a big part of it.
And yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, I would never go
I don't think
because I'm too scared of that.
You probably won't reap any of the rewards of it.
Why do you think that? Who else is going to take it from you?
I'm saying like you'll die before you see anything. Like,
yeah, but your
good out of
family
it.
would. Your family would, and their generation.
Yeah, your
of
family would.
You'd create generational wealth the last centuries.
Yeah.
Just saying. If all this crap comes true, well, we'll see about that. But I'm just saying, if it did come true, if my kid said they wanted to go to Mars to start and had all these grand ideas, like I'm saying, I'd say hell yeah, go for it, dude.
You gotta drop 200 grand though.
That's nothing compared to what you're going to make if you survive it and make it work. That's nothing.
If you survive it.
I wouldn't do it, but I probably wouldn't say that to my kid. I'd be like, no, don't do this.
No, well, I don't think we would be allowed on. I don't think we're like in good enough shape.
I'm not going. I said if my kid said that.
Oh, if your kid. Oh, okay.
I said if my kid said that, and they really believed in it, I probably would encourage them to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if they were like, really into it, yeah.
I'm just saying it's kind of exciting if it actually happened. Could you just imagine, like, if that actually happens? That'd be crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's like opening up a new frontier.
Yeah, I just think I would never go. And plus, yeah, I probably wouldn't be fit enough. And yeah, I think there's going to be, you have to pay X money, plus you have to pass a application to get on it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be like anybody with $200,000 gets to go. That's not what I mean. But I don't know. Maybe eventually, if we somehow live for a long time, we could take a trip to Mars.
Yeah.
Or more likely, take a trip to the moon.
Yeah, that's a lot more likely.
But that would be fucking amazing.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Would you do that like 20 years from now if they've got the price down? It's like 10 grand or something. You get to go to the fucking moon. Would you do it if they had like a moon base set up there?
If they were doing it like frequently and reliably, yeah, I would do it.
Yeah, it would have to be. We'll say 30 years from now. It's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's not possible, but that would be cool if it was. Do you think though this would be a dystopian nightmare, or do you think it'd be a good thing overall? The robot stuff in your home and that sort of thing. The grand idea of it.
I think there's definitely potential for it to go wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how strong and how smart they are, you know. If like one robot, if a human can overpower it, then it's not that big of a deal, you know. But if every household has like a killing machine in it, that'd be bad.
Execute Order 66.
Yeah.
Eliminate them all in their sleep. Yeah, that could be bad. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably never going to get one. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
These might be. I think it's going to be wildly. I think by 2030 we're going to see it in restaurants more so, and like doing manual jobs more so. I don't think they're going to be living. They're going to be too expensive at first, anyways. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they're going to be god awful expensive.
Probably the really wealthy people will have one or two. But
Yeah, I'm
anyways,
sure wealthy people have at least one as a novelty. You know.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, they've already Amazon's made this little bot that rolls around and can carry little items to you and stuff. It's like $1,000.
Yeah, I've seen. Like I was telling you the other day, I've seen a little robot at a restaurant
Yeah, they
that
brought
serves
little pizza.
drinks and brings your order.
I mean, but if they look more human, that would be. They may not look like this. They're making it out like they're gonna make it human. People may not like that. People may reject that idea and may want to make it more like an R2D2 or something.
That's how the one I saw looked. It was like an R2D2.
I think that's more likely because it's freaky when they look like you.
Yeah, it is unsettling.
But I think they should make. I mean, you can make a robot with just make them. Why make
I
them look
like
like a
that.
human? But why
I
make them
think
even?
that
Sorry,
looks
guys.
better than if it had like a human face. That would look weird.
I don't want them to be like a black void. It's freaking creepy.
I'd prefer a black void.
Oh God, no. Hello, no God, fuck no.
I'd prefer that. I don't know.
I would prefer them to be animated over that. That's weird.
Like a human face?
No, but not like a black void, like some eyes or something. Something.
Yeah, you can
That's,
give it eyes. Yeah.
That'd look creepy as fuck. I want to put clothes on it too. It's naked.
What about the transparent one? I like the transparent look. I'd get that one.
I think that's just trying to show what's inside of it. I don't think that's the actual look.
It's like the N64 transparent controllers. You know.
I personally think they should improve upon it because these are just 10 fingers. Why not make it have like a bajillion fingers and not make it look human-y at all? Just make it super, be able to do anything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, make it have like 10 hands. I don't know. It'd be better. But we do make
Maybe.
everything's to be. But we do make things to be. We've already made everything to be used by humans. So
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
yeah, it might make sense to do that. Well, pretty
And
interesting.
it's also it's trying to replace humans. You know.
Yeah, that's true. They already gave it dimensions and everything: 5'8", 125 pounds, deadlift 150 pounds. Speed would be 5 miles an hour, so it's not going to be like running around like crazy.
Okay.
Fast. It's just going to be
Yeah.
walking around steadily. I don't know. Be kind of interesting. Have you heard of ARK Invest, like the ARK funds that Kathy Wood runs?
I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it.
Well, I thought this was kind of interesting. They released their projections for what they expect Tesla's price to be. So today Tesla's roughly like $1,000. They expect if there's no more shares created, they probably will split by then, you know. So it's probably not actually going to be this exact price because share splits and that kind of thing. So they're expecting it to basically go up by 4.6x or whatever, basically 5x for over the next 4 years. The bear value is 2.9 and the full bull value is 5.8 or 6x basically. That seems possible.
Yeah.
But this is where I got a lot of this information about. This is like how they break it down. So like the cars sold today is like roughly 1 million in 2021. The bear outcome means there's 10 million Tesla cars sold, and that bull will be 17 million Tesla cars sold, which seems not crazy. But they're also saying by 2026, if like the average value hasn't come down to about 38,000, then we're going to get a bear case, and if it's at about 30,000, we should have the bullish case. So basically, they're expecting the cost to just keep coming down, so they can get a lot of sales.
Let's see.
That's what a
And
lot
yeah,
of this
that's
is
like
dependent on.
that's the main thing holding people back from getting.
I want to get one. I want to get one for sure. That will probably be my next car, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
so
And if it's affordable.
right, and so this would be the revenue. You know, you got 500, half a trillion. They're expecting a half a trillion in electric vehicle revenue. That's insane. In the bull case, the bear case 372 billion. That's so much money.
And that's still good.
Do what? Yeah, that's still great. Well,
Right.
the bear case, they're still thinking it's going to go up 3x. That's the bear
Right.
case. I mean, that's great. If it does 3x, that's amazing. You know?
Yeah.
But this is where I got a lot of this information. The human-driven ride-hail revenue. So this is human-driven at $0 today, obviously. Because they're also going to have this built into the Tesla system that's going to compete with Uber as well. It'd be built into Tesla. So you could drive it yourself too if you wanted to. They're expecting that to be 67 billion in the bear outcome, and the bull outcome, human driven would be 0. Like they expect there to be no human driven stuff, and the autonomous driven would be 51 in the bear. So they do expect the autonomous stuff to happen even in the bear case by 2026, and $500 billion from the autonomous ride hail services. So this is what's crazy. In the bull case, that's $1 trillion between these two.
Yeah, that's insane.
So they're expecting this autonomous ride system to take up half of their revenue. The electric vehicles would just be half of it.
Right. I mean, it pretty much like transformed the company.
Well, that's the two main. They don't even have Tesla bots in 2026. They're saying that might happen then, and that would make it even crazier if that happens by then. But the main thing is you're going to have the autonomous thing, and you're going to have the just electric vehicle stuff. So basically, if the autonomous stuff doesn't take off and they've increased their vehicle sales to this much, it still does well. But yeah, but that would imply that if the bull case happens, that it's $6.7 trillion market cap, which is more than any other company. But by then, Apple will probably be worth $7 trillion or $8 trillion.
Yeah.
Probably. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Do you think any of these prices seem reasonable to you, or do you think it seems crazy, or what? Just on the face of it.
Okay, so
you own some
but
Tesla, right? You own a little bit.
Yeah, I do. So by 2026, the bear it would be like 3x.
3x basically. And then the bull is 6x.
I mean,
Expected is about 5x. That's pretty great. Either one of those is amazing.
I'm curious, like, what's the historical? How much has it gone up in the past 5 years?
You're probably going to be shocked by this. This is another one where I shot myself in the foot in 2017 when I bought it and sold it for 10% gains. Past 5 years, 15x.
Oh my god. Well, then I think it's possible.
I had bought it around this time.
Wow.
Was it? No, it was not 27. Well, yeah, it was. It was in 2017. It was.
Well,
I remember that.
there's been a split and stuff. I'm pretty sure.
No, this takes into account the stock split.
Oh, it does.
Yes.
Okay.
There's been a 15x, including the stock splits and stuff.
Let's see. Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy much of it anyway, so it wasn't really a mode made. It would have been nice. It would have been a nice amount of. I think I would have made like $6,000 or something. So I didn't buy very much of it back then, so I don't really care that much. But I'm way more invested in it now, especially after seeing that report. It makes me want to just keep adding a lot of Tesla to what I have, because if this is the bear case, expected value case, I feel good about all three of those outcomes.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of.
And this isn't even taking it. This is not,
land.
and this isn't even speculating the Tesla bot at all. This is just the autonomous stuff and the vehicle sales. That's it.
Yeah. And I think that for the bull scenario, I think the autonomous stuff is, optimistic. But
yeah. Well, that's why they call it the bull outcome.
yeah.
The bear outcome seems much more realistic, so that's why they did it in 3 different cases. And they even put probabilities to it. They said the bear is 25% probability, bull is 25%, and the expected is 50%. This is based on a Monte Carlo simulations. It's like an economic model thing that I'm not exactly sure how it works, but It comes up with different probabilities based on variables and stuff. So I thought that was interesting. Ethereum 2.0 has been pushed back to next year. Are you familiar with this upgrade?
I think you've talked about it before.
So yeah, basically it's moving from proof of work to proof of stake. Proof of work is all the miners and all that jazz that keeps the network secure. Proof of stake is you have to stake Ethereum in order to earn Ethereum instead of just the electricity burning from your go back to this, from your computer. So it's the proof of work versus proof of stake. Proof of stake, like I said, is staking your Ethereum. Proof of work is you're mining and using electricity to secure the network. I'm not exactly sure all the technical details of proof of stake and how that makes things secure. I'm not really sure about that. But I think it's kind of a big deal because they've been saying this is going to come, but they keep pushing it back. It was slated to come out last year, and they pushed it back to this year. And now they're saying it could come out the end of this year, but more than likely next year is what they're said. So I don't know if that's probably a bad thing. I would say for Ethereum, What do you think?
That it's been pushed back.
Yeah, it's probably a bad thing. I would say
Yeah.
for price
Yeah,
action.
I mean, yeah.
But a lot of people were saying there was going to be a big bull run whenever this upgrade happened, but I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, like I said, proof of work is what Bitcoin uses. Proof of stake is, having a stake. I think it works a lot like traditional banking because the way the banking system works, you stake your money, you put your money into a bank, you earn interest on it.
Yeah.
So that shows the faith in the network by putting your money into a bank. It's a similar thing with what Ethereum's trying to do. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because it's mimicking what we do today. So that's why I personally think proof of work is better. That's why I like Bitcoin the best. But
It is like it's diverging from, what other successful cryptocurrencies have done.
Solana's on proof of stake, and they've been successful so far with it.
Okay.
So there is some precedence for. They're wanting to do it because they think it will. They think it's going to, for one thing, it's going to increase transactions per second by a good bit, and it's going to allow for better development or something like that. And they don't like being dependent on real things in real life. Because I think technically to stake your Ethereum, to do it the proper way, you still have to use a computer. So it does still require some physical items. You're like staking it on a node or something like that, and your computer is a node, I think. So it still technically uses some power. It's almost like your computer is like a server or something.
Right.
It's not actively having to keep churning it to do the power or whatever. I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on price personally. I just think it means we're not going to go up much. I think once it happens and it proves to be a good idea, which I think it probably will do fine, then we'll see a much bigger impact on price. To be honest with you, I think we're going to trade sideways on crypto until we've discussed this before. The next halvening that happens in 2024 for Bitcoin, I think until that happens, there's not going to be much moves upward.
Yeah.
I think right now we're in the accumulation phase. At least that's what I think you should be doing.
I agree with you.
But we'll see. So it probably doesn't have much impact, but it's not good. I would prefer them to get it done with because it's kind of nerve-wracking. And also for people who have, right now you can stake your Ethereum and you have to wait till 2.0 is released before you can get your Ethereum back and use it and trade it. So there's a lot of people that have a lot of this locked up. I actually have $500 locked up. Not much. And I can't trade it until this gets done with. It's not that big of a deal. I did it to test it. But a lot of people have like millions of dollars locked up.
Yeah. I mean,
so I wouldn't do any substantial money because they keep pushing it back.
Yeah. And what it would suck if they kept pushing it back and then you had all that money tied up for years and years.
I know. It's got to come out next year. That's crazy. I feel bad for those people that did that. But the whole reason why they wanted people to do that is to test the network. These people, like my Ethereum is locked up, is helping test it basically. At least that's my understanding.
Okay.
So they've already kind of split them. So the Ethereum 2.0 is kind of already working, but they're trying to merge the chains together and get it all back to one chain. Is
So like whenever
really,
you put the 500 in,
yeah,
it like created
ETH
or
2,
not created, but
ETH 2.
right. But I see. Okay.
But it's going to merge back to the original Ethereum. See, they're all the same. Like your Ethereum that you own that you have not staked, it's going to be the new Ethereum too. You don't have to stake it to get it.
See.
So it's not a hard fork. I guess it's a soft fork. I think that's the difference between the two. Remember when you talked about the hard fork crap? That's like a totally different network. They're not, it's not like that. So
Right. Like eventually all the current Ethereum will become 2.0.
Right. You don't have to stake it to get it. It's just staking it, I think, helps the new testing and all this. I'm not going to pretend to really understand it, but I think it helps somehow for the new stuff. Plus, I am earning like 3.5% interest on it. That's the plus side to it. So you could stake, and I'm doing it on Coinbase. That's the non-technical way to do it. If you do it the technical way, you can earn like 8% on staking ETH.
How are you earning? How's that work?
That's the miners today, they earn Bitcoin or Ethereum by mining. This is going to replace the mining situation. It's the gas fees. Whenever you're a mint an NFT or send Ethereum, you get fees. Those fees go to the miners that are securing the network. So in the future, they're going to go to the people who are proving that they're staking Ethereum, that percent earned, and that's coming from the fees.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sometimes Ethereum fees are crazy, like $100 because the network's being used so much. All those fees get distributed to people who are mining, but in the future it'll be the people who are staking, and they get a percentage, like the current banking system, basically. Now, the other thing about it is the proof of stake is supposed to improve the transactions per second, and they're hoping to increase the transactions per second even more over time. That's why I like Solana a lot. The reason why I like Solana a lot is because it's the same proof of stake system. You stake your Solana or whatever, but the fees are so much cheaper because the transactions per second are like 64,000 compared to like 15. So your fees are like 10 cents to mint an NFT or something instead of $100.
Right. I mean, that's way better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna. Like I said, this is just my understanding of it. I don't fully get it, but it's kind of interesting to try to figure it out. Okay, this is kind of. I'm kind of curious about what you think about Russia and Ukraine. Do you think Russia will launch a nuke on Ukraine? Not talking about launch a nuke on us, on the U.S., but do you think that there's even a possibility of that happening because they haven't gained so much traction or success as they thought they would?
I think it's possible. I don't think they will though.
I don't think so either, because I think that would, like I said, do you think that would lead to World War III? I think it would if they actually did that. I don't think we could let that stand. So.
Yeah, that'd be really bad.
Do you think it's going to end anytime soon? Because it's destroying the stock market and it's pissing me off. I shouldn't. That sounded very narcissistic. But
yeah, a little selfish.
But I don't. I wish it would end for both reasons.
I think. Let's see. When did it start? Was it like in January?
No, it was end of February. Near the end of February. Like February 26th, I think.
So it's been going on for like 2 months now.
Yep.
I think it'll probably end up lasting 6 months.
Yeah. Could be even a year. Who knows? But I don't think it's going to last forever. I think Ukraine's going to give them some of the land that they want.
That's what I think is going to happen too. Yeah. I think they're going to come to some sort of peace agreement.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy the propaganda Russia's putting out saying they're all fascist. I'm not saying I don't know if Ukraine's a good country or not. I don't know that much about them, but I know they're not. They're claiming they're committing genocide and stuff like that. So it's weird that they're using false pretenses to wage this war. So it's kind of annoying.
Oh yeah, I
The
mean
reality
that's
is they just want strategic benefit from it.
right. Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know how. I guess a lot of people in Russia buy it. I don't know. So, what do you think about the food shortage?
Yeah.
If you heard about that, that they're both huge producers of wheat, and it's bound to lead to a
Yeah.
food shortage.
Yep.
What do you think
I
about
mean,
that?
I don't know. I'm curious, like when that's gonna like come into play. Like when do because right now we're not seeing the effects of that yet. It's like we're lagging behind.
Right.
When are we gonna catch up to that?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that wheat's stored, so people probably have some excess wheat lying around. It's probably not going to be an impact until that store has been gone through, and I'm sure prices have been affected.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's not necessarily that like if I'm a country in Africa, I'm not going to give a fuck what the U.S. says. If Russia wants to sell me wheat, I'm going to buy the fucking wheat. That's not necessarily the issue. The issue is Ukraine is the third biggest wheat producer. They're not going to be able to make the same amount of wheat because there's a big battle going on. You know, so the problem is there's literally not going to be enough wheat to go around, and so the countries that aren't as connected enough or as rich enough, they're not going to get the wheat that they need. But like I said, I don't think they're being currently affected that bad yet because I think they a lot of times countries keep a surplus of wheat on hand.
Right. I mean, it makes sense.
So I think it could be, at least from what I've heard, it could be next year before it's really seen the effects of it.
But I mean, also like Ukraine's probably not gonna be able to produce much wheat for a few
Oh
years.
yeah, oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. We're not going to see it until next year, but it's going to be an effect I've heard for 10 years. It's going to have a
Yeah.
huge effect on poorer countries.
Yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
I don't think
But
any, you know.
and we could see other countries like ramp up production though.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably going to be that for sure. I just don't know. The problem is, like I've heard, at least from what I've heard, Peter Zihan is the guy I listen to about it. He says in countries like India, they should be okay because they haven't fully adopted the globalization model to where they just say, okay, I'm going to get the wheat from here, I'm going to get this from here, I'm going to get that from there. They kind of do a little bit of everything. So they're not going to be affected that badly because they still kind of produce their own shit. But countries that
Yeah.
have fully adopted the globalization model, but they don't, they're not rich enough or connected enough, they're the ones who are going to be screwed. So a lot of countries in Africa are that way,
Right.
according to him. And so that's probably not going to be good. I mean, especially because
And
I mean,
in like America, we would probably just see increased prices.
yeah, we'll probably see some increased prices. It probably won't be much because America, we give a lot of subsidies to food. That's why food is not affected too much by inflation. It is affected a little bit, but not near as much because America prints money for food. We try to. I mean, if you're going to subsidize something, food production makes sense to subsidize because that makes
Yeah.
sure that. So basically, there's so much corn or so much whatever product being produced. The market value of it is less. What you can sell it for is less than what you've actually paid to create it. So the government says, okay, here you go. If you're for growing this, you get government money. That will pay you the stuff, and that's how you're going to make your money. So we have this encourages corn production, even though we don't need the corn.
Right.
Just in case there's ever times of, I guess, bad things going on. It's one thing that we subsidize a lot, which is probably not a bad idea. So I don't even know if our prices will be affected that much, to be honest. But
Oh, that's good.
yeah, we'll see. We live in a very rich country and a very big country that happens to do a lot of farming. It also happens to have a lot of oil, so we're kind of, no matter what, we'll be fine, pretty much, in terms of catastrophe.
Right.
Because we have a lot of these natural resources ourselves. Um, this I thought was interesting. Bitcoin purchases, like buying Bitcoin, is banned within Ukraine using Ukraine currency, but Ukraine owns billions of dollars of in Bitcoin themselves, like the actual central government does. I think it's hypocritical to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard about this. So I'm guessing they're doing this to like strengthen their own currency, right?
That's what I think. But they're buying, they're getting rid of their currency to buy Bitcoin or use Bitcoin too, and they're carrying it on the balance sheet. So it's just kind of bullcrap. They're not going to let their citizens do it. But I mean, honestly, Ukraine is a good example country that should adopt the Bitcoin standard, in my opinion, and just forget their currency.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of in you know, a situation to where it makes sense.
I think they're a good example. That I think they would benefit from it because every time I put money into Bitcoin, every time you put money into Bitcoin, every time some hedge fund in the U.S. puts money into Bitcoin, it's benefiting them. How much
Yeah,
speculation is happening on Ukraine currency? Zero.
yeah,
Zero. But the only thing that's they have to be careful how they do it though, because if they just say we're going to buy a bunch of Bitcoin and go off the Ukraine currency will be worth zero.
but yeah. Then
So,
everybody's screwed.
and I don't know if their money is worth anything outside of their country. So it's not like they could easily buy dollars either, because it's already gone down to shit. I'm actually kind of curious about that, like how much the Ukraine currency is worth now.
Well, I'm sure, and this has to be why they did it.
Yeah, it's kind of a shit situation. I don't know. I don't even know if there's is globally traded because it's so crap. He came up with the Mexican peso. That's not what I'm looking
Yeah,
for. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's only worth like 3 cents right now, but I wonder what it was. I see a chart of it. Okay, here we go. So let's look at the past two. Let's just do the past year. Okay, so we're trucking along. We're at 3.8 cents. This is, and look right here in November, it starts to go down. That's probably the news that Ukraine might get invaded about. Boop.
yeah.
But it's actually not crashed as bad as I thought it would have.
No, it really hasn't.
That's kind of weird. That's shocking to me. Well, they haven't been cut off from the world though. They haven't. They're still connected. So if we look at
Yeah,
at the what's the Russia ruble, this has dropped like a rock. What the hell is recovered? That's weird. So 13 cents, boom. It dropped like half its value, and it's recovered almost to what it was before. What the fuck?
yeah. It's made a comeback.
I don't know why. That's weird. I did not expect to see that. Huh. I'll have to look into that more. It's kind of weird. Okay.
Yeah,
That's sort of strange. Um, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I feel like they would benefit from it because, like I said, nobody's really speculating on making Ukraine currency go up, but people are doing it with Bitcoin, so it's probably not a bad idea, really.
yeah.
Same for Russia, to be honest. Do you think this kind of leads to the next question? Do you think Russia and China will adopt like a new currency standard because they're kind of colluding together and showing that they are, you know, kind of in cahoots on a lot of this stuff? Do you think that they'll end up coming up with their own standard and starting their own kind of global networking systems? And there'll be two standards: the dollar standard and the Russia, China, whatever they come up with standard.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be on the Chinese yuan.
Yep,
Um,
I agree.
but yeah, I think that's coming.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they'll probably try to get like They'll probably love to get. India's not going to do it though. India won't have anything to do with it because India hates China. So
Yeah,
India won't be on board with it. But they might could get like some countries in Africa and maybe Iran to do
yeah,
it. Iraq, maybe not Iraq, but Iran, different countries in the Middle East. Basically, all the countries that are kind of shady.
yeah. I mean, China's got like a big influence in Africa right now.
Yeah, yeah. So they'll probably get some there. Um, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see because China doesn't. I don't know if you knew this, but they don't have a lot of strategic resources like oil. They don't have that. Um, and like Russia can supply that to them. So there is a good reason why they would want to make a partnership with Russia and be able to buy their oil and that sort of thing. Especially since Russia can't is not gonna be able to sell to Europe forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well, we'll see about that. I imagine a world though that there'll be the dollar will be dominant, and then Russia and China will have their own thing going with a few other countries in there as well. And then I think eventually over time there will be a Bitcoin standard for smaller countries. That's what I think will happen.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, so like a three top system. It'll be a while though. Um, what stock or stocks or cryptos do you feel the most bullish on? So first, I want you to pick a stock or a fund or a crypto 1 year out. What are you most bullish on 1 year out from?
Mm.
I don't even know if I could pick one. I feel like shit about
That's
everything.
that's hard. Um, dang.
Actually, I think I do have an answer. But do you have
All right,
anything?
let's hear it.
Solana.
I can't think of anything right now.
Solana.
Solana?
Yep. I think it could 2x over the next year. You don't have it. You don't have one for 1 year. Dogecoin.
I mean, my tried and true is waste management, but
Well, I mean that'll probably do fine. It's probably not
yeah.
a. It's probably a good one to have right now, especially with all the craziness going on. It's like a good standard one. What about 5 years from now?
5 years, I'm bullish on uh Bitcoin, of course, and like Ethereum.
Okay, I 5 years. I'm probably the most bullish on Ethereum and Bitcoin too, but most I would say probably Ethereum slightly more, and Tesla too. To be honest,
Yeah, Tesla.
10 years from now, Bitcoin for sure. Like I think it's really going to
Yeah.
do well, and Ethereum, and I think okay in 5 years also I'll throw Solana in there for 5 years. 10 years, I don't know about Solana. It'll probably still do well, but I don't know how well. Ethereum will still do well, and Bitcoin will do well, and Tesla I think will still do well as well. But in 10 years, I'm also bullish about Meta. I think it'll do well over the course of 10 years. 1 year outlook, 5 year
Yeah, I can
outlook.
see that.
I'm not 5 years. I feel better about it, but 10 years, I feel really good about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
I
not
guess I'm bullish for Meta for 5 years a little bit, but not
yeah, not as
a
much.
lot.
But 10 years, I feel really good about it because if the Meta stuff, which I think will come to fruition, it's going to benefit greatly from it. Even though I don't necessarily agree with their decision making, I think they need. That's why I want them to change their decisions. 'Cause I think they'll just do better in the long run if they do that. 20 years from now, honestly, 20 years from now, there's only two names that I can even really comment on. Specific, not funds. QQQ, of course, will still do well. Probably the
Yeah,
art
yeah,
funds will probably do as well as two. But for me, it'll just be Bitcoin and Tesla. That's it.
yeah.
If I had to pick a
I think
specific one,
I would say Bitcoin specifically more than Tesla, and just because you never know what's going to happen.
that's true. Bitcoin's probably the most. I really feel good about. I love the idea of the Tesla bots and all that stuff. So if that actually comes true, I feel good about the next 20 years for Tesla.
Yeah.
So it's probably the stock wise, it would be Tesla. Bitcoin would be probably the most by far. Probably more so
Yeah.
than Ethereum. Like in 10 years' time, basically I'm going to reassess Ethereum in probably 10 years.
And because Ethereum 2.0, I really,
That's
and
gonna
I
be
think
a
it'll be fine,
that's gonna be a
but I
proving
don't
ground.
know. Yeah.
But
If that's when if things do go wrong, that's when it will.
that'll be soon though. That'll be within the next couple of years. So if it gets through that, I feel great about it for the next 10 years.
I
Which
agree.
I think it will, to be honest, because there's so many different tokens built on it. There's so many side chains, which are blockchains built on top of it to be used. There's so much crap already built on it. Like I just don't see how it doesn't do well. And if it makes you feel any better, Mark Cuban, and I'm not fucking kidding with you, Mark Cuban has 50% of his portfolio in Ethereum.
And yeah, I think it's going to do fine.
But isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah, 50% of your portfolio, that's insane.
But that's Mark Cuban, a fucking billionaire. Like he's what?
And that's a little risky to me.
That's very risky. I would never do that. But that's why he makes all this money. So if he's
Yeah.
right, I mean, he's gonna make a fucking killing. You know what I mean?
True. I guess he
So
believes in it.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's all we got today. Did you have anything else you wanted to say? That's about all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Thanks, guys, for listening. And until next time, we'll talk again. Bye bye.
See ya.